Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and part 2 of the Clipwing Cub slow flyer build. Last episode you saw me building the wing. Well, I've built the second wing, you can look at that in a minute. This afternoon I've been drawing up on the CAD the tail feathers. I had planned to put laminations around the outside of the tail plane. It's a lovely shape. I have decided instead of laminating the outside, I'm going to cut it out of sheet. Not solid sheet, I've made it up a little assembly kit. I'm going to cut it out on the laser. In fact, I have cut it out on the laser. So it's 1/8 balsa, and as soon as it's cut, we'll put it on the bench and we'll unpin this wing. So I'm just going to get the plan to assemble it on, and I'll be right back and tilt you down and you can have a look at the second wing and we'll start on the tailplane. Cheers guys. Thanks for looking in. Just before you go, I'll have a glass of orange. Oh, lovely. Okay, here's the wing we finished with at the last part 1 session. The leading and trailing edges need sand intersection, but that's one wing, and here's the second wing. So that will go on there, making quite a nice wingspan. The original Cub, I think, pretty much didn't have any dihedral, but this one will, because it won't turn if I don't. So it's going to have a bit of dihedral, and I protected the balsa from getting dense by the pins with little bits of balsa on the outside. There's a piece, there's a scrap piece. So all I need to do is to trim the ends, and that'll be the second wing done. So on to part 2. Let me just change these glasses. I printed out the tail feathers. Let's just take that one up. Over. That's a in part, that piece there. One of those. So what should we start with? Fin and rudder? Yeah, start with fin and rudder. And the two uprights can be pinned down because they're no chance of them splitting because they're decent bits of wood. Okay, there we go. I've put in the cross pieces and I've added a couple of healthy gussets to the wings in the corner there, 1/8 gussets. So that's the wings made, and the tail feathers, they're probably a little bit on the chunky side. I'll see how they feel when they're glued up, when I take them off, see how heavy they are. But I might make, I think they're about 16 millimeters across. I might make them nearer 10, but these are going to be less prone to warping. But if I end up with loads of nose weight, I know where to save it. So next job is going to be CADing up a fuselage of some sort. So I'm going to give that some thought, whether it's going to be stringers or solid sides or what. I'm not sure yet, but whatever it is, it's got to be fun to draw up. That'll take me a day. Had some ideas about fuselage construction. I was thinking, instead of like on the mini yo-yo biplane, which is solid fuselage sides with bits cut out, I'm thinking something like stringers, 1/8 stringer in each corner of those square formers as you go down, and one on the top. I think it's got sort of a backbone, and maybe a couple on the side, give it a bit of shape. I think that would work really well. So it'd be a built-up stringer type fuselage, which is sort of what I like to make. So it's what we all like to make, really. That's why full-size aeroplanes are that way as well. I'm going to go and get on with drawing that up and cutting out some bits and printing a plan, and then we'll reconvene here on the bench and have a bit more fun. And then I'm dying actually to just put these together and make up a mock-up. Let's just do a mock-up now, shall we, without fuselage. There we are. How's that looking? Quite a lot of dihedral, as you can see, but I need it because I've only got rudder. So it's got to have dihedral. Not very Cub-like, but You know, it's sweet. Here she comes. Brilliant. Love it. I love it. Okay, see you in a minute. I'm just working on the plans using QCAD, and I've got the formers done. I'm just putting in some sides here. Just putting in these little ones down here. These are 1/8 square. Like that. Each one has to have one. Although that one possibly not, because that one's okay. I'm now going to copy these. Copy and paste. And now highlight them and reverse them. And move it horizontally. So that's all the other half of the formers. So what I plan to do is to make up a keel like that out of 1/16 by 6mm balsa, then stick the formers on one half at a time, put the stringers on there, a couple of thicker ones at the top to support the wing, and then take it off the board and make another keel facing the other way. To import these into light burn. That's good, look, just get 3 on there, look. I think there is software that will fit all these bits in onto the most economical layout. I don't know what it is. If you do, let me know. I know I could have cut all these out and stuck them all together by now, but doing it this way, I can make small changes and I can replicate it and modify it to my heart's content. Okay, in the workshop, and I'm cutting out the formers. So it took me quite a long time yesterday to draw it all up, but today 8 minutes is what it's going to take to cut them all out. It's taken me a while to get used to getting everything exactly set up. I'm getting there. Just to remind you, this is the Algo Laser Delta. Lovely machine. So just doing the keels now, and learnt a lesson there. I could do with a couple more tabs because it's popped through there and it moves slightly. So you can see on the end of that one there, or you could see the shadow on it now, but there's little tabs to hold it all in place. But anyway, we're well on our way to getting this done. Okay guys, welcome back, and I've got a printout and I've got my cutouts. Now I've got first job is to do the keel, and I've got 2 sets of keels here. So very first job is to get all the bits of wood out and pair them up, and then start gluing them down to the board. So first of all, let's just get out all the parts. They might just break out actually. Got a couple of tags on the end there. Let me just get all these out and I'll be right back. The burn is minimum on the edges, so I'm not worried about that. I did join it under the former. Right, Let me just make up the back of this and then I'll be back and we'll have a look at the formers. Should be a bit of fun. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to start. 4. This is the test. We'll see how good my measurements are. And 5. Here we go. Look at that. This is the fun part. When you're drawing this online or on the screen, you have to try and imagine it as a three-dimensional structure. So to see it coming together as a three-dimensional structure is quite exciting, really. Right, let's do these front formers. We've got number 3, number 2 and number 1. Right, now I need to do some cutting of balsa wood to get some strips so as we can start getting these stringers in, seeing if they actually fit. So I'll be back in a minute. Let me strip up some 1/8. Okay, here's a test strip. Slots in there and sits on the top of these slightly because I don't want these formers to show through the covering, so the notches only go down a little bit. That one goes in pretty much as intended. This former here though is giving me some problems. Or I also need a piece of 1/8 wood that goes across there just to support the wing that sticks out the front. So I'm going to play with this, guys, and amend it here and there, and then I'll come back to you and we'll stick it in, I think. Okay, so I've given the longer ones plenty of water, made them nice and wet, and I've just put them in without cutting them or gluing them at the moment, so I'll leave that for a little bit because I've got to pop out, and when I come back we'll fit those. But I think that looks quite purposeful. Should look nice covered anyway. Okay, so here we go. They've had a little bit of drying time. Now I've just fixed this one in place. This F5 is in a bit of a trouble because it wants to come up. I need a little tapered piece to go in here. I may end up sheeting the front part for strength and get a bit of weight forward of the CG. So that one's going to go in there. It's coming on. I'll probably put something on the front of this, a bit of thin ply, 1/16 maybe. There's going to be a little bit of spring in the structure because it's under tension from the longer ones. See how well this polythene comes unstuck, because this was a different polythene that I normally use, so CA may or may not stick to it, and it looks like CA sticks to it. Oh well. Always do a test before you commit. Somebody did ask me once actually, how come the CA doesn't stick to the polythene I use. Obviously wasn't using this polythene. Right, I'll clean all that off later. So for now, that actually is very light structure. Pleasantly surprised given the amount of wood in it. Thanks for watching, following along. Give the video a thumbs up, helps with the algorithm, and if you're not subscribed, hit that little subscribe button now, and I'll see you back in a minute with the other side built. That's the idea. Oh, what fun. Does that look cub-like? Oh, sort of. Delightful aeroplanes they are. Okay guys, exciting moment. Oops, just pulled that apart. That was exciting. That's what happens when you don't hold things together when you're pulling pins out. How many times have I said hold it things down? So that was exciting, wasn't it? Not. Just glue that up. Right, let's see if it unsticks from this plastic a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Right, the test is going to be putting the two parts side by side, seeing how they compare. There we go. Well, not too bad, does it? At least you're guaranteed to have a dead straight fuselage when you do it this way. You get a couple of pegs on there, I think. So we go. But there we are. There's the start of it. And yeah, this is very much a beta build, isn't it? Going to be a few things to change, no doubt about it. So, fin goes in there. Let's see, that goes in there, like that, and then that goes on the top, like that. That seems to fit. Said surprised. If I can put that all together, one peg. There we go. How does that look? It's hard to say how heavy it is now with all these pegs on, but there we go. Let's just move you up a little bit. I think that's better. That's looking good. I'm happy with that. Oh, what if I could balance the wing on? Be another peg or two, but oh yeah, let's get you off the tripod a minute. There we are. Not a bad start, I think. Sort of looks like a Piper Cub a little bit, and that gives me something to work on now, doesn't it? Okay guys, I'm going to work on the fuselage. I'm going to stick the two halves together and work on those little bits that I needed to work on, and it'll start to look a bit better. Perfect.